Hello, everyone. Welcome again to Uncaught Exception mini session episode 14. So, this mini session is a mini virtual version of a regular monthly meetup of software developers and enthusiasts. So, this usually lasts for an hour with two speakers per session. So, for this session, we're gonna talk Arnelle will be talking about, I don't know the title, so go ahead, Kuya Arnelle, and introduce the topic. I guess yourself.
Okay. Oops. Um, do you see my screen? Yes, you see my screen. So for this, for my session, hi everyone. For my session, I'll be sharing about GitHub Actions. So what is GitHub Actions? So GitHub Actions is a CI and CD feature from GitHub. It allows us to automate workflows in our repositories. So these workflows typically they involve like running um, automated tests or automatically deploying to like production when things happen in the repo. So those are things that um, GitHub Actions can do for our projects. So here's their page, github.com/features/actions. And let's take a look at how to get started with it. For this demo, uh, I've created a GitHub repository, which is just a create React app with nothing special in it. And let's look at how we can add GitHub actions or configure GitHub actions for this. So to do that, let's go to the actions page. I'm in actions tab here in our repo page, and it's loading. Okay, so if you haven't set up actions yet, this is what you will see. It will give you like instructions on how to get started. Some quick start like buttons here. So we will do that. If you already have it set up, you will see your actions right away, which we'll take a look later. So since this is a React app, we'll be using, which we build using Node.js. We can set up the workflow action. So setting up a workflow action, you can do it. Setting up a GitHub action workflow, you can do it manually by like creating a file in your repository and committing it, or you can also do it directly from the GitHub page, which is here. So just click set up this workflow, and clicking that, it will lead us to this editor within GitHub itself. So this will ask us to create a file in this directory. So let's just call it like, I don't know, CI. So how do we configure it? Normally in CI like configurations, we typically like include um, like the commands that we need to run in order to perform the jobs, right? So in our case, let's say in our case, we want to run tests. So because the Create React app has some built-in like tests. So let's call it unit test. And here, this is the name. You can name it however you want. And then there's the on configuration. So these are the events that need to happen in order for this workflow to run. So that would be like on push, then run this workflow, or on pull request, we run this workflow. And that would be like, you can also narrow down like the filters using the branches. For example, this workflow will only run on pushes to the main branch or on pull requests to the main branch. So in our case, we want to run tests. So okay, this could just an arbitrary na like setup. This all depends on your like specific projects. But let's say for example, we want to run tests every time someone opens a pull request. So just remove push. Yeah. So we only want to run. We only want this workflow to run on pull requests to this branch. Um, I don't know if you can see actually. So let's zoom in. Um, so that's it. These are the events part. Um, we'll take a look at this more in a bit, but let's just finish this one. And then once this happens, the jobs are the actual like commands that you need to execute for this workflow. So this is the name of the job. So build, let's call it test because we want to run test. So runs on, this is like a configuration for like the virtual machine that will be used um, to run this workflow. So there are a lot of like available ones in GitHub Actions. By default, you just use Ubuntu latest. And then Actions also support like the matrix thing. I don't know what it's officially called, wherein this workflow will be run like for each of these like versions of Node.js. So let's not use that for now. But just so you know, that's possible also. And then the actual steps. So this will be the actual commands that will be run for this workflow. So first, um, we need to check out the repo. So this is like the syntax for it. So there's uses the keyword here in GitHub Actions means that it will use another like pre-configured GitHub action. So these pre-configured actions, they could be like provided by GitHub already, such as checkout, or they could be like community actions, like open sourced by other people. So um, let's use the checkout action from GitHub for now. And so that's one step. Second is after we check out the repo, we need to install Node.js. So there's also another predefined like action to do that, which is action setup node, and you can pass it parameters. So setup node, what node version do we need to set up? So the way you pass parameters in GitHub Actions is through with na key. So with, and then this would be like the different parameters. For example, this is the node version parameter. So I just removed the matrix part earlier. So I'm just going to like add explicitly define the version. So you can give it a name, but since I removed the matrix, I'll just remove the name also. So that's it. Let's review. Check out the repo, set up node n- with node version 14. And then you can run like explicit like CLI commands using the run key. So this will run npm ci, npm run build, npm test. So these parts here are like depending now on the repo that I mean on your project and what commands are available. So let's take a look at our project. So this is our project. Um, these are the scripts available: start, build, test. So and turns out this is using yarn, so we can run yarn test. So we can replace this with yarn test, and yeah, we can just remove that. So this is like our minimal like unit test workflow setup for our project. So run all. We don't. This is not important. So let's commit it. Start commit. Create ci.yaml. Okay, that's fine. And commit. Now, next thing to do is test it. So if you remember, our workflow will run for pull requests to the main branch. So let's try to create a pull request. So I will create a repo called feature1, and let's let's just change something. Okay, what can I change? Let's just change this to red, for example, and commit it. Change background color to red, and then push it. Go. Okay, nice. Then back here, let's create a pull request. And okay, that's fine. if this is like a legit project, provide proper information in your PR description. So let's just create a pull request. And you see here, my PR is created. And why did it not run? No, just kidding. So here you see the action is automatically like the status of the action is automatically displayed um, in your PR page. Oh no, it failed. So we can take a look at actions page for more like information. Change background color red. So what happened? So here, this is the name of our test. This is the job. What happened? The test failed. So, huh? Yeah, we forgot to do something. Uh, how do we edit? Let's just edit directly from here. Um, so edit. We just run test directly, but we didn't install dependencies. So let's try to do that. So run yarn install or just yarn, either way. So let's commit it, and we can rerun the action if we want. So rerun after we've fixed our issue in our CI config. Okay, starting. Okay, let's. Oh no, it still failed. Why? What's wrong? Let me try to pull it. Um, CI.yaml on pull request to builders main run test steps uses step node yarn install. That's correct supposedly. Let's so basically the commands we run here, we make sure that they work on our. We can test them by making sure that they work on our local machine also. So yes, so the reason why it still failed is it's still using the previous version of of the the workflow file. So let's quickly fix this. I will just rebase my branch. Version name. So I will just rebase it and force push to update the PR and trigger a um, fresh run of the workflow. So let's see if that fixes it. So we see it's running again. That's nice. Um, so in the actions page, it will show us like all the actions or like the workflows that are running. So if you have a lot of workflows targeting like different branches, you will see all of them at once here. So we can go into more details inside. So let's see. Yeah, finally we have yarn installed, so it works. Let's see if this actually works. In the meantime, we wait. Okay, so while waiting, yes, while waiting, we can also do things like, so you see, we see here, right, that we can see the status. Okay, yay, all checks passed. Let's open that in a new tab. So the test succeeded. So that's nice. Here also one thing we can do also, especially if we have like a lot of collaborators in our project, we can enforce that all, let's say for example, all PRs should pass the test before we merge them or before like we allow merging these pull requests. So we can do that in the settings, and inside settings there's going to be branches, and we can basically add branch protection rules. So let's add one. Um, Wait, what's this? Okay, yes, that's the default branch. So let's add a protection rule for main. So if for main, we want the status check to pass. Specifically, we want um, the test job or like workflow to pass. So that's nice. Click create. So what that will do is I can merge this now, but let's just show that one really quick. So I can make the tests fail by, let's say, updating the test. Expect true, that to be falsy. Let's try it. Um, let's commit it. Make test fail. Oops. Oops. Let's push it. And finally, it will run another, um, it will run the action again because we pushed to a pull request. So, so this is basically the nice thing with this is, especially if you have a lot of collaborators or even if you're just working on the project on your own, there are some things that you can automate as you work on the project. Things like if you really like, for example, you really write tests in your project to ensure that nothing breaks, everything's working as expected. And you can automate like running those tests every time using CI, CD services like GitHub Actions, which is nice. Um, okay, it's too much weighty. Uh, what else? Yeah, click on this. So it's now running the tests and it's done. Oh no, it failed because it fails because we explicitly wrote a failing test case. So here, um, the merge button will be not available, and except for admins of the project, which is me. So, but for like other like contributors, this will be disabled. They won't be able to merge this unless the test pass. So that's nice. So I won't merge this for now, so that we can proceed to the next thing, which is, so yeah, we showed how can like automatically run tests with CI. Let's try to do one more thing, which is how we can automatically deploy to like other places our app to like production, for example, using um, GitHub Actions or CI CD in general. So in our case, I would like to deploy this project to Firebase. So Firebase hosting. So I already have. Okay, that's outdated. Um, so I already have a Firebase project for this. So let's initialize Firebase for this repository. So I only need hosting, use an existing project. This is the project. So build, because that's where create React app places the build files. Yes. And no. We can maybe want that, but we'll manually configure it for now. So we've configured Firebase. I just want to ignore Firebase directory, not, not really related. Okay. So if we are running it from our computers, we can just run Firebase deploy, right? And it will automatically like deploy to the correct project if we have access to it. However, um, we want to do this from GitHub Actions. So what we need to do is somehow find a way to like authenticate ourselves. Thankfully, Firebase already has that. You can just run login CI. So what it will do is, yeah, it will ask you which like account to use, and I'll ask for permission, and it's done. Oops. So we see here. Oops, sorry, I keep alt tabbing. So we see here, this is the token that we can use. So Firebase allows deploying with with a token, which is like a personal token specific to your account, so that we don't have to log into Firebase like manually from the CI server. So other services also have similar mechanism. If you want to deploy to AWS S3, for example, use the secret key and like I mean the access ID and secret access ID, something like that. So there's similar like mechanisms from different services that we can use. For Firebase, it's this one. So how do we do it? let's try to add another, where's my repo? Workflow. So in our repository, back to actions, and currently we only have the unit tests workflow. We can create new workflow. We can just use the same thing, and we can edit the code like the config to, let's say, deploy to Firebase. And we only want this not for pull request. We don't want to deploy the pull request, but we want to deploy the new changes to the main branch. So we want to deploy it on push to the main branch. And the jobs, it says build. We don't want to build, we want to deploy and run Ubuntu latest. Yeah, that's fine. Remove strategy and the steps that we want to perform. So checkout, oh yes. And set up node, yes. Since I removed matrices, I'll just remove that also. And let's try to use the latest stable version of node 14.x. And here we run, we again, we specify the commands that we need to run in order to perform this workflow. So that would be yarn install. Let's not forget that this time. And then finally, after we install, we need to build the app first. So to generate like the static files that we can deploy. And then, so normally we can run Firebase deploy here, but first, since this is CI, this is not your laptop, you don't have Firebase like CLI installed here. So we need to install that first. So let's run. We need to install um, Firebase CLI or Firebase tools globally. Software is called Firebase tools. So in my experience, I've had trouble like using Yarn to install global packages. So I'll just use npm here. And then finally, once that's done, we can just run Firebase deploy. And instead of just that, we need to specify our token to authenticate ourselves. Now, we can just paste our token here, right? But that would be like completely like not secure because our token will be like exposed. I mean, will be included in our repository. And since this is public, anyone can just look into the repository and then get your token and then deploy it. I mean, just deploy random stuff to your site. So you don't really want that. So how do we secure our our Firebase token? So in GitHub Actions or in GitHub repositories, there are these things called secrets. So if you go to your repository, go to settings, and then in the sidebar, there's going to be a secret menu item. So this is where we define um, basically secret keys and tokens and other values that you don't want to be like publicly known like within your repository, but you can still access them in your GitHub Actions. So let's add a secret. Let's call it Firebase token. Let's paste it here. And let's add the secret. So no one will be able to see that value again. So it's encrypted according to GitHub as they store it. And we can only update it later. I mean, we can later on we can only update this. We can't see the actual secret value, so that's nice. So once we've defined our secret, back to our actions, what do we actually, oops, sorry. Uh, so what do we actually put in here? So for the token, we can just read it from um, the environment variable for now. So where does this environment variable come from? So this is not automatically defined by GitHub Actions. We actually need to specify the end ourselves. So let's see. So the nice thing with using this editor in GitHub for writing our workflows is that there's a lot of like auto suggestions for like what configs are available, and then there's like documentation. So that helps like when writing key. So this is the name of our environment variable. Let's call it this one. And then the value we can read it from the secret. So secrets, this variable is already defined in the GitHub Actions environment that the name of the secret. What did we name the secret? conveniently same as the environment variables. That's nice. So let's try to save this. Let's call it deploy.yml. Anything else? Just double checking. I think that's fine. Start commit new file. Okay, cool. Um, so we've added the deploy workflow. So let's try to push something to the master, I mean to the main branch. So um, let's change something in the app. So let's see, okay, learn React. Hello. So let's just change it like that, just for demo purposes. Uh, oh, there's actually Firebase config. Okay, I won't change anything in the app anymore. Let's try it. Let's pull our latest changes first, which is the new workflow file. Yeah, I can't do it. Let's do it again. Okay, that's nice. Um, Figure Firebase for the project and push to main. So since our workflow, like the deploy workflow, runs on pushes to the main branch, this this should run now. So that's cool. So you see, it's still running the previous one for like creating the deploy file. Oh no, it failed. Why does it fail? Hmm, not in a Firebase app. Could not locate. Okay, that failed because I didn't commit like the Firebase config files yet. Okay, that's kinda expected. Let's wait for this one to finish. Oops, deploy. Okay, it's installing. Okay, so while we wait for that, um, let's take a look at our workflow file. So this is the deploy workflow. So here in jobs, you can actually define multiple jobs, and we can make like dependencies between each other. For example, we want actually deploy this later, but for example, we want to deploy our app only when the tests pass. So we can add another job here. Let's call test, and let's just copy paste this from the other workflow file. So test, and then since we want deploy to run only when tests pass, we can add dependencies. This is called there's a config for deploy called needs, and this is the this could be an array of like the names of the other jobs that this job depends on. So we can put test here. So that way, when this workflow runs, test will run first, and once that succeeds, that's when deploy will execute. So that's how we define dependencies between actions. Let's take a look again. Deploy is done. So let's see what's the URL. Here's the URL. So we see, okay, our project is live. That's really cool. Um, this doesn't only run for push. Yeah, it runs only for push, and push is also triggered when pull requests are merged. So let's try to merge this one. Um, okay, this has failing checks, so let's fix that first. Um, so I'm just going to remove the old commit. Wait, wait. Okay, we change the background color to red. So let's say we fixed the failing test. I mean we fixed the yeah we fixed the failing test. So it will trigger a run of the workflow again, which should take just a few minutes. Um, so while we're waiting for that, let's just take a look at some documentation. So far we've only seen like push and pull request for the triggers that for the events that trigger um, our workflows. But there are a lot more supported by GitHub Actions. So basically, everything that happens in your repo triggers something is an event that can trigger a workflow. There are things like For example, when here we see everything in the sidebar. For example, when an issue is created or opened or edited, they can like run. We can run workflows in response to that. Um, when, for example, a milestone or label. So basically, all of these events can trigger a workflow that you can manually configure to fit your needs. So there's a lot of events supported. Check out this page from the documentation. And for more like syntax, they also have dedicated page for it, workflow syntax for GitHub Actions. So this is where we see all the all that we can do in the workflow config file. So here we have needs or runs on, which is like the machine that will be used to run. Here we're using Ubuntu latest, so that's nice. Here's the docs for needs, and yeah, we can also conditionally run jobs based on certain like conditions by using the if key or config. So things like that are all supported in GitHub Actions. And finally, earlier we saw or like we used the secrets na variable, right? This is like in GitHub it's called the context na variable. Okay, sorry. So these are called context and expression. So I think this is the expression. So secrets is like a built-in context variable defined in actions, and there are a lot of other contexts like the GitHub variable or the job, the steps. So if you need like something specific from that like workflow na run, for example, you want to get the commit hash that triggered this workflow, you can get it from GitHub that SHA, for example, in case you need to use that. So it's all there available. So our job now passed back to the pull request. It's not blocked anymore because test passed. So we can now merge this. So this is like you see how like everything's just like working like seamlessly, like in terms of like the workflows getting run automatically. So let's merge, go back to the actions. Since we merge it, it will automatically deploy to Firebase because the merge triggered a push in the main branch. So that's cool. Let's take a look. Okay, that's still running. That will take like maybe 2 minutes, like more information. So as I mentioned earlier, the actions like here, as we see here, we can use like predefined actions. This could be like from GitHub or from the community. If we go to like the marketplace tab here, we can filter all like projects by actions, and we can see all the like available actions that are built by other people already. So there are nice things here, like for example, the Slack integration, or you can just search it if you know what you're looking for. So this could be something like this, or I just click a random one. So this is a GitHub action that will send a message to your Slack workspace if something happens in your action, for example, when your tests fails or things like that. So it's all available here, and you can also define your own. We can also create our own GitHub actions that other people can use. That could be a topic for a future episode, but that's possible. And what else? Yeah, I guess we just have to wait for it. So it's deployed, good timing, and let's see. So we changed the background color to red. Oh no, it didn't work. Or maybe it's just cached. Okay, so this the project was like automatically deployed using GitHub Actions, CI/CD, but and all we did was just open a pull request. So that's nice way of automating things in our GitHub projects. So I guess that's all for me, and thank you very much.
It's good.
So yeah, that's it for GitHub Actions by Arnelle Balane. So any questions, guys? Everyone, everyone's familiar with it. Everyone's using it, so there's no question.
Yeah. Mm.
Questions?
I
I guess
can
not.
I can see any questions also in the YouTube. So I think let's proceed to the next speaker. So the next speaker is Dorell, and he will talk about Netlify identity. Go.
All right, I'll be sharing my screen. Right, let's do full desktop. Wait. I'm so sorry. All right, let's start with this question. No, what is it? Why am I sharing my screen? All right, so let's start with this very first question. Did you know that one of the most asked questions, whether you're creating an app, working in a language specific, is to how to add authentication? And when we talk about authentication, it's kind of like easy enough, like how to log in or how to sign up. But we know that there's more to that, like password recovery, expiring tokens, sending emails, and so many more. So it's not just like simple logins and sign ups, but also you also have like saving the users somewhere in the database or whatever wherever you want to. Okay, so today's talk will be talking about Netlify identity, and it solves that problem for the signups, logins, password recovery, and so many more, all without rolling your own authentication service. So you probably be thinking, what is this about? So I would like to point you into the direction if you have heard of O0. So they have like this, fancy widget that you can embed in your site, and you'll have this authentication, you have the sign up already built in with you. So Netlify identity is quite the same in such a way. However, it's open source, so it's perfect for your Jamstack site if ever you want that. Uh, I mean, oh sorry. Netlify identity is a paid service, but the underlying service that makes it run, which is the uh, go through go through. It's in open source, so you could host it on your own and roll it uh, the way you want it. All right, so yeah, that's it. For use cases where this can be useful, for example, we have a website, and a simple website could have lots of information. Um, from the very nature of a website, it's more of like an informational website. But once you add custom logic to your website, such as be able to limit access to certain pages or um, or sell on your website, then this is where it can come handy. So for gated content, for site administration, for authentication, for authorization, like using serverless functions, and so many more. All right. Before we do a demo, I will let's take a look at the docs per se. Uh, let's do that. All right. So I'm here. As you can see, I'm here in the docs. Uh, it's part of the Netlify docs, and actually, it's just a subpart. No, it's not really a big one because this is like Netlify identity. It's part of like if you have an account with Netlify and you go to one site, you have the stub identity, and you'll be able to go with that. Um, this is the go through JS library that I've talked about. This is an SDK for client library for the go through API, which is open source. So this is made from Golang. This is user management APIs for APIs. So by the time Netlify created this, the time like it's been like um, the top most feature that users wanted. So they kind of made this agnostic. So any framework, any library can use this. But they kind of built this in functionality here in Netlify. So you have this identity tab right here that you can enable immediately and make use of that. Okay, so without further ado, I'll take you to the Netlify identity. So let's go back. So if you log in with Netlify, same like that, and you go through your site, in this case, I'll be using the React Cebu website, so react.cebu.org. And if you go to identity tab, you can enable identity from here. So you have managed signups, logins, password recovery, and more without running to authentication service. So click this, it's gonna go there, and it's enabled without, it's very fast. And we have this API endpoint, which is really important because this is where everything happens. So the user sign up, the API calls, register, invitations, acceptance, confirm password, and so many more. And here you can also have a dashboard to invite users in your app or website. All right. So before that, I'll take you to the settings page. So you kind of like have an overview of what we have. Let's not talk about the identity level, these things, but the important things which mostly of all of us can relate. So registration. So we have here registration settings. So you can have it like invite only, so no one can sign up on where your identity will be integrated. For example, in our case, later we will integrate it in our React Cebu website. So we can do this invite only. But I'll just leave that to open so that we can also sign up later. Okay, so I'm just gonna leave it then. You also have webhooks. So there are certain events that you can trigger. Send data to. So you put in here webhooks, some secret for security purposes, and you can toggle what events do you need it for. Also have by default they will send the emails for, let's say you sign up or you get invited to the app where this Netlify identity is integrated. So have it coming from no reply at netlify.com. If you want to unlock that, then you can start paying. Anyhow, so it's not $99, kind of steep, right, for an add-on, but enables you to quickly set up to. So I just want to be clear, if you are using identity level 0, before I proceed any further, the pricing for that is in the add-on here, per site add-ons, and if we are to look at level 0, we have a active user limit for 1,000. So if you have like a really small site and they just don't care, probably you're not gonna reach this one or whatever. So we can use Netlify identity for your case. But for example, if you have like your site is earning, your app is earning, then you could probably spin up like this. Or you can choose another provider like Ozer. The purpose of this talk is to give you an idea what's there in Netlify and how you could probably use that in your Jamstack site without ever fiddling with other user management system like O0 and AWS Cognito and so many more. All right, so everything is taken care for you. There's an invitation template, confirmation template. So all the emails that's coming from, if you kind of like reset your password, the email should come to your inbox. Confirmation, everything there, and then this is services. This Git gateway. This allows you to connect your site to GitHub's API. So for example, if you heard of Netlify CMS, then it allows you to manage your content easily. And let's see here, you can delete your instance. All right, so I'll go back to my slides, and let's do a quick functionality demo. So we will not be shocked in what it looks like or how it works. Here, let's do that. So here, this is the Netlify identity widget demo. So since the go through as an SDK for the go through API, you can actually implement this however you want it. But they have this fancy or really cool widget that you can hook on your site to have the functionality, take care of things, everything there for you. So for example, you have your login button. Wait, the login is not showing up. Why? Oh, here. Just not. All right, so this is like this this widget, the model that they have. We have here a login. We have here also a sign up. Third-party providers login, and you have like multiple sign-up buttons, login. Yeah. So the thing that I want to do next is to use this one to the React Cebu website, and so that we have. Let's see if this can work. Dorell. Just one gmail.com. That's 3. So, let's see. Okay. Confirmation email was sent to your website. Right. Let's see if it goes from here. You're invited to. Let's see. No reply at. Oh, sorry if you're reading some other emails. All right. So here, you'll be able to see this one. This email comes from you. You confirm your sign up, and it goes to the demo, and your login. So basically, this is like how it looks like, but you can't appreciate it right now because this is just a quick demo. But you can log out, and you can choose to log in once again using that. Oops, that's one. I was using that's one. Right. So I'm back now logging. All right. So here you have like use login, whatever that's. Okay, so for the sake of this demo, let's do a demo so that they pride that it's easy to integrate, right? So let's do that here. So we'll do that. So we'll hook that in just the website. So this is not like plugging whatever, but this is kind of like the set that I could probably easily put that in. All right, and we have this. Let's use this plugin also. This is the Gatsby plugin Netlify identity. So in your use case, it can vary or whatever. But since this website is made with Gatsby, so I'll be using this one. So yep. So without further ado, let's do this. iTerm. Let's go to the website. Website v2. Right, if you want to add this one, wait, I didn't copy it. Right, and the other dependencies as well. So let's do this. While we're waiting, let's talk about something else. Yeah, no, should be fast. Should be done, right? Add this one. Oops, I did it in master, I think. Anyhow, should be done in a minute or so. Hope it's all good right now. You can hear me. I didn't mute myself. Let's check. All right, I'm good. All right. Okay, it's here. So let's start the project. What am I doing? Like, my brain is kind of like doing 2 things already. Yarn code. Oh my. All right. So here, basically, if you're working on a Gatsby site, the first thing that you're gonna take a look is the Gatsby config. So where everything, things like the plugins, which plays most of the part of pulling data, making changes to your site, whatever that is. Yeah, so let's do this. Let's do a copy paste. We don't have much time. Let's replace this with the identity instance that we have. So where that is, let's go back here in the identity tab and let's copy this and replace it. All right. So let's remove this because we only need a URL. Just make sure that it matches with. So we have a trailing slash. So let's stick with that. All right. Let's also kind of copy code here. I don't care. The important thing here is that we're able to pull it in. So let's take a look at the website, by the way. So this is running in localhost. So same thing, which is live at react.jsu.org. Let's add something here. Let's make this work. Let's go to layouts. Let's import some stuff here. So imported here the identity model and the hook use identity context. Also I imported here some styling so we can have some styling there already. And here let's hook in, well, let's copy everything here. I guess for the variables, using the hooks, use identity context for states for the model, name for, I think we're gonna be using this somewhere. And let's look at the code. Okay, we have a nav, we have a login status and a button that pulls in set dialog to true. So this pulls shows the model, and we have some state flags for like if it's login, we show hello name and log out and login. So this is kind of like a toggle. So let's copy that. Let's include a nav. All right. And let's put that before the header. And let's also don't forget to copy the identity model component so that we have the component. All right. So let's try. Okay. So must be inside of our provider. Why is it not working? So that is because we need to, every time we make changes to gatsby.config, we need to restart the server. So let's do that again. Hit start. This runs, by the way, Netlify, Lambda, and the sites Gatsby. So it's gonna take probably 30 seconds to boot that up, since it cleans everything up from the start. So kind of like a development setting. All right, that's one. Let's add once again. All right, and we can see that we have added here the nav that we put in our code. And if we click this, so we have here the Netlify identity widget that is part of the website. And here we could try to sign up, which if this works, it will match with the earlier behavior that we saw. So let's say Dorell James, and let's say Galang. How many test 2 at gmail.com, and let's say test 1 2 3. And wait, I didn't click that. I'm pretty sure I clicked the login. Let's see. No reply at Netlify.com. Yeah, I didn't. Sorry, misclicked. Let's do that again. Just 2, 3. Hey, there goes. So it's loading, and I'm logging. All right. We. But here, let's see. Where's my email? No reply at Netlify.com. All right. So we have here verify your email for react.js.org, and you can click this, and it goes to the React Cebu website, which doesn't have this. So let's just copy this confirmation token and use that in our localhost. And let's log out this first. So that I'm not sure that works, but we should log out. Oops. Yeah. and probably that's confirmed user. So we can verify that in identity tab. No users. Let's reload here. Right. So you have here users, me who sign up, and how do I know that I'm a verified user? I don't see that here in the interface, but if you're working with the API, you should know that. You should know that and be able to see that. All right. So you have your SLD functionality to invite the users in. For example, I may, this is like kind of like the reverse way for having users not be able to sign up. So you're the ones taking care of, adding the users yourself. So let's do that here. Yep. And here should be able to receive a new email. So it goes straight in my inbox, but it's for test tree. Right, right there. So you've been invited to create a user, and this email template you can change that however you want it in the Netlify interface here, or templates. So invitation template, you have been invited to this one, and you can also specify an HTML template for that if you want to further customize it. All right. Okay. So if I click this right there, you have this invite token that we can use in our local. Let's log out this guy. Log out. All right. Who you? All right. Didn't work out. Wait. Let's see. A dialogue area. Yeah. No, that's not working. That's not good. Yeah, didn't. Here. Reach tabs. Let's see here. Nothing wrong here. Anyhow. It's weird. So weird. Anyhow. Oh, this is probably a plugin thing. I don't know how to fix that, but we're just using something out from this thing. Yeah. So yeah, this is kind of like unmaintained. I don't know. You have so many plugins that you can use here. For this case, this is Gatsby. Probably something wrong with their implementation to the plugin of the this one SDK widget. This one, and it's already part of the Netlify labs, which is it hasn't graduated yet. Anyhow, so I think that's the end of my talk. And if you have some questions, I'll be happy to answer it.
Awesome. Thank you, Dorell.
Thank you. Bye.
Everyone's in the screen now. Okay. Wow. Cool. Everything is automated. Usually in our projects, we're doing it like step by step on the back end. We still make the template for the email. But anyway, so any questions, guys?
Yes,
I
everyone. Okay,
okay.
you
All
can
right,
go ahead.
go. Ice.
Fine.
I think I think Arnelle first.
Okay, fine.
Okay, ako na lang. Okay, fine. No, joke lang. Go,
So
Bernard.
the identity level like 1 to the paid like options. Is it
Jabay?
the paid na versions for identity?
Yeah.
Is the payment like per project or is it for your entire
Per site.
already?
Per site.
Per site.
Per
Okay,
site.
okay.
We actually have a enterprise account, and it's pretty nice.
Wow.
So like but yeah, that's the business model of the company. So like, we have that. It's pretty cool.
Okay.
So we didn't have a problems with choosing the pricing process.
Yeah.
The level 2 is already enabled. Okay, let's make use of this.
Okay, that's for me. Thank you.
Yeah, right.
So, your turn, Ice.
So my question is, would it be possible to add additional authentications? I saw in the widget that there was like connect to Facebook, connect to GitHub. Would it be possible to add like a third-party authentication, provided that there's some sort of API that can be connected? that can be used to connect both authentication?
Um,
Let's just say you have an existing app that already houses most of the authentications, username, passwords of your users, and you want that the users of that app can also log into your other website, your web app, using the same authentication as with your other website. Since let's say they're closely related, would it be possible if we just use? Would it be possible to add that into the like connect with, let's say, your website in the widget? Does
um,
I don't
um,
think my question
I,
makes sense. Yeah,
I'm
it's a very
confused.
long question.
Like it's like first we were mentioning like other providers because you
Yeah.
saw that in the widget.
Yes.
Um,
Yes.
yeah. So so if I understood your question correctly, you were asking if you have an existing site or whatever that
Okay.
is that has some users in it, and you want those users to be part of the Netlify identity as well, or
Yes. Yes. Yes.
all right. Oh, okay. So Netlify identity holds its own set of records. So like for the users, whatever login provider that they choose to log in. So if you use their Google, Facebook, whatever that is, it holds all your information here in the identity users where you can manage them in the interface using Netlify. If so, oh for your thing. For the existing users in your other site, you need to pull them in Netlify for them to work using
Ah.
that.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
You need to kind of sort of import the users you have there. So
Ah.
yeah,
Okay. So like you
yeah,
just is it like manual importing? Like just
yeah.
get the
Actually, there's you can make use of the API to kind of like import.
Okay. Okay.
So
That makes sense.
yeah, it's not gonna. The go through API has many implementations for library. The only one that's been widely used is the widget. So it's made in JavaScript. So, but there are also like other variations there. Uh,
Okay. Okay.
yeah.
Okay. That's my question. Thanks.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. Hey.
Uh, I'm I have a question in
Yeah.
mind.
Yeah.
Sorry,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I'm thinking if I should ask it or not. Then
Yeah.
I'm
Sure. Sure. Sure.
looking at a different page. Anyways, I'll just ask.
Yeah.
Uh, does Netlify identity handles like permissions by page?
Permissions. Yeah. I actually didn't discuss with my person with my talk right, but actually since everything is configurable down to the user level, you can actually assign user metadata or roles within your user, so you can kind of like work with that for some per page or whatever that is. So yeah, that's it. I hope that that's we can work with that.
No,
Yeah.
actually, I was like kind of thinking if the Netlify is only handling the signups and all, and if it's a proper question to ask or anything. That's why like I have a pause there. Anyway, so any questions, guys? Any other questions?
None from me.
Nothing. No one. No other questions. Yay!
Yay.
So today is a long day for us, guys. Anyways, yeah, today is a very long day for us. Anyway, thank you very much for being with us, guys, and for the
Oktoberfest and this year today.
Oktoberfest.
Oktoberfest. Happy
Oktoberfest,
Halloween! Woo!
Halloween tomorrow.
Thank
All
Oh
right.
yeah,
you.
thank you guys. So like, thank you for giving time for the talk here. I know you both have a long day preparing for all the talks today. So I will end this session. Na, outro na ko. Sige. Anyway, so that's it. For this session, we've discussed about Netlify identity and then the continuous integration of GitHub actions. So I hope to see you again next week. And I'll keep this one short. So goodbye, everyone. Say goodbye, guys. Please
Yeah,
don't forget
everyone. Thank you.
to like and subscribe.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye bye.
Like and subscribe.